What's up? What's up? Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm getting the last few things together and I'm seeing the dots showing that sound is coming from the right mic. So we should be good. It is 7 o'clock. Kickoff should happen in about 15 minutes. For anyone who doesn't know how they got here, this is a watch along for the Cowboys Raiders game on Monday Night Football. Um, and so, yeah, there's a few things that I'm watching for tonight. Earlier this week, or not early this week, last week, but still a few days ago, Brian Schottenheimer talked about what to expect from this team moving forward, and especially this week. So, one of the things that he emphasized was winning first downs, something very easy to watch for. So, that's something I'll definitely have my eye on tonight. He also talked about Logan Wilson contributing to the defense. And that was kind of like an odd thing for some people to hear because it's like, all right, what you're suggesting is that game one, this guy is going to come in and be like set in front, possibly wearing the green dot. They didn't say it in those words, but that was the suggestion that that might happen. So I'll be paying attention to how they use Logan Wilson, how they use Quinnen Williams, how they use and to what extent they use DeMarvion Overshown, because I think that'll give us some signs for what the Cowboys defense is aiming for and what they'll look like moving forward. So we know DeMarvion Overshown is number zero, agent zero. Quinnen Williams is going to be wearing number 92, and Logan Wilson is going to be wearing number 55. So those are the people I'm watching on defense. And then on offense, I'm just looking to see how they go about getting the offense back to, just one of the top offenses in the league, which is where they started the season. That's how they were winning games because the offense was basically making up for what the defense lacked. But then for like the last couple weeks, like weeks 8 and 9, they just really weren't clicking on all cylinders like that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be looking to see, like, do they simplify things in order for the offense to be successful? Or is this going to be a game where they try some new looks, try some new things? Um, the way Brian Schottenheimer was talking, it definitely suggests that they're going to simplify some things, right? It definitely suggests that they're going to try to keep it as simple as possible and make this an easy game for Dak Prescott. But you never know. We might be surprised. He can go in the press conference and say one thing, and then team comes out on the field and we see something different. So right now we're just waiting for kickoff, and the Monday Night Football intro is playing. And if you do stumble across this, and I should probably put it in the chat, I'm curious what y'all are watching for because I feel like there's different fans who have different things in mind when it comes to hold on, let me just make sure this is on here. Yeah, when it comes to what they're looking for during this game. So it looks like we're getting close to kickoff. Oh, it's only 7:03. Right now they're about to do, I don't know if they're going to televise the tribute to Marshawn or if that's something that they're just talking about. Because right now Lisa Salters is on. They are talking a lot about the tribute to Marshawn Nealon. And I'm just going to say personally, while I know a lot of people have referred to it personally, hey, JV, good to see you. Let me know if you can hear me. I'll be having sound issues. Um, Personally, I have been hesitant to say that they're playing this game from Marshawn Nealon. I know that that sounds good, but one of the things that I would absolutely hate is that if they don't play well and everybody's talking about this is in memory of Marshawn. So I hope they do. Thank you, JV. I'm glad the audio is good. So I hope they do. I just don't really know what to expect. especially with the way Brian Schottenheimer was talking in the press conferences. Like, and then we haven't heard from the coordinators. We still haven't heard directly from Matt Eberflus about what he expects from Logan Wilson or what he expects from Demo or Quinnen Williams or from the defense in general. All we've heard is what Brian Schottenheimer has to say and his perspective on the defense. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what? I forgot to tweet out the link to the stream. Let me do that. You can't rely on YouTube notifications for everything, especially on a night like this. Share to Twitter. Live now. So, according to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, it sounds like both teams believe they can win tonight's game. And honestly, both teams have every reason to believe that they can win tonight's game. I know the Raiders don't exactly what they won 2 games this season so far. But the thing is, they have the pieces to take advantage of the Cowboys in the way that other teams have. It just really comes down to what they decide to do and how they execute. Because the ability is there, right? Like especially when it comes to if they can fix some things on their O line, if they've been able to fix some things with their offensive line to make their run game a little bit more effective, then they can make tonight a difficult night for the Cowboys. Honestly, and Max Crosby is right. Some of their losses have been close. But I mean, that's the case all the time with the NFL. I love when they ask him what challenges the opposing team faces because, like, what do you really expect them to say? And he's like, Dak's a great player. Well, it's like, yeah, well, we know. And back to a commercial. So I think one of the things that I'm really interested to see in terms of what the Raiders are going to bring to the table, and as a matter of fact, let me look up the insights on this because that's one thing that I haven't done. I have been working my ass off all week, guys. So some of the things that I normally have off the top of my head, I just haven't even looked at. Um but yeah, I'm interested to see how they handle the offense cuz like what we saw with the Cardinals and I want to say one other team did it as well is while the Cowboys offense has several weapons that they can use, they basically decided which ones that they were going to try to take out of the equation and dared the Cowboys to figure out ways to use the other weapons. You know what I'm saying? So like with the Cardinals, it really felt like they were like, all right, we're gonna handle George Pickens, we're gonna handle CeeDee Lamb, we're gonna make things tough for them, and you're gonna have to figure out how to beat us with your run game. Which I really feel like the Cowboys could have done more with that than they did. But once the Cowboys got so far behind and Dak was in the whole 2 minute offense slash hero ball thing, they got away from the run game anyway. So it just kind of felt like the Cowboys didn't really have any answers when it came down to them being creative, not in the play calling sense, not saying that like, Schottenheimer should have like done more complicated things, but creative just in the sense of like, okay, can we still marry the run game and the passing game the way that we've been doing, but like weaponize other players and make them bigger threats than they've been like because that's really what you have to figure out how to do because it's like yeah you've got George Pickens, you've got CeeDee Lamb as major threats, but it's like when teams figure out how to handle them, can you use Ferguson and Kevontae Turpin and Javante Williams in ways that can still get the job done? Right. That's what I want to see from Schottenheimer as a play caller is like, can you work around that? Because like while it's hard to handle both George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, especially if you're willing to double CD because they brought George Pickens in so that CD wouldn't be doubled as often. But CD hasn't really gotten that much better at handling being double teamed. He's improved, of course, but like not enough to where it's like completely negated. Like people can still handle him by double teaming him, bracketing him, whatever, whatever. So I'm really curious about how Schottenheimer is going to handle that this week, and also who Dak chooses to target. You know, Schottenheimer talked about them watching film and figuring out what they were really bad at from watching the film. And I just thought that was interesting for him to say because it just kind of made me wonder what they saw during the bye week that they couldn't see week to week anyway, you know? Because especially on the defensive side, like a lot of the stuff that the defense is bad at was it was jumping out. Like it's not like the defense was like, mid tier and it's like, oh man, it's so tricky to figure out like where we falling short. It's like, no, like it's pretty obvious what's going wrong. Oh, this is a Marshawn Nealon tribute. Moment of silence. That's so sad, man. I can't imagine how these guys are feeling right now. Is it weird that I get quiet on stream when they're doing like a moment of silence or the national anthem? I don't know. It feels weird talking over it. I'm gonna be honest. So I hope y'all are watching too, because they're about to do the national anthem and I'm gonna be quiet. Demo looks like he's really feeling the anthem. All right, that was a lovely performance. I have never heard of War and Treaty before, but they sound good. Good for them. Um, but yeah, let's look at some of these stats. So, some of the stats that came out about this particular matchup between the Cowboys and defense, and this is just stuff that next gen stats felt was significant. Javante Williams has rushed between the tackles on 62.6% of his carries, the fifth highest mark among running backs with 50 plus attempts, which of course is one of the things that we love about Javante Williams. Rushing between the tackles is something that the Cowboys were desperately in need of before Javante came along. Um, because it's like if you remember last season, that was a struggle. And now that I think about it, it's interesting because like watching Rico Dowdle with the Panthers, it's like he doesn't seem to have a problem with that now. So I don't know. What happened last season might not have all just been on the running backs, but it's what they're doing now is something that the Cowboys needed. Um Let's see. He's averaged 5.1 yards per carry, which is awesome. The fifth highest mark among running backs with at least 30 inside carries, forcing 20 missed tackles, which is the third most, and scoring 5 touchdowns, third most among running backs. The Raiders have allowed 3.7 yards per carry, which is wild. The fifth fewest in the NFL on inside runs. Oh, on inside runs only. Okay, okay. But they have allowed a league high 8 touchdowns. It seems like the Cowboys like for Javante Williams to score the first touchdown of the game. So um, hopefully the Cowboys will add to that number. Let's see. Dak Prescott has targeted tight windows on 19.8% of his attempts, the highest mark among qualified quarterbacks this season, um, which isn't entirely up to him, if you ask me. Sometimes it's just like, hey, this is what I have available. So one of these guys is getting targeted and they're covered pretty well. Um, he's completed 25 of his 65 attempts in tight windows, which is 38.5%, which is above the league average of 33.3%. Okay, solid. Um, let's see what else. He's completed 80.5% of his play action passes this season. They have been doing pretty well with play action. George Pickens has caught 29 passes outside the numbers for 422 yards and 4 touchdowns this season. Meanwhile, Jake Ferguson has caught 46 between the numbers for 341 yards and 5 touchdowns. All right. For CD Lamb, defenses are playing off coverage against CD Lamb on a career high 56.7% of routes this season, despite Lamb running a career high 66.3% of his routes from out wide. That is a lot for him. I know for a while he was kind of known for being, the Cowboys' main slot receiver. Wow, they added a lot of insights for this game. Maybe it's because they had 2 weeks to compile it. All right, we got kickoff. It's like the Cowboys are receiving. Cavante almost dropped the ball. And once again, hits the scrum and stops. Man, I would love to see Cavante like really go off. Six interceptions, really already? Because that didn't have an interception until what, like week 7, week 8? That's wild. Let's see what they do. Handoff to Javante Williams gets like 3 yards. Another handoff to Javante. I didn't like how that run looked. It didn't look like he really attacked the hole with the kind of ferocity I would like to see from him. I don't know what's up with that. It looked like there was some kind of timing issue between him and the offensive line. Like he doesn't normally hesitate like that. But it's one time. We'll see how it goes. Third and 4. I need them to convert this. We cannot start this game on a 3 and out. All right. So pass play, obviously. And he's taken off with the ball. There's a flag in the backfield. Pass to Tolbert, incomplete. Let's see what this flag is for. The announcers are saying holding against the Cowboys, which holding offense number 73. Penalty is declined. It's a terrible start. Because that first drive was just a combination of all the things that we really wanted the Cowboys to root out during the bye week. Like short runs, pre-snap penalty, 3 and out. That's not what we want. But first drive, maybe they'll get it together on the sideline. They'll come back out and look a little bit better. But before that happens, the defense has to handle their business. If y'all are still watching, I'm curious what y'all are looking for today. Hmm. Oh Lord. And on the other side of the ball, Brock Bowers catches a pass wide open. Jeffy said, "I'm looking for Terrence Steele to get benched." Oh my goodness. Honestly, although this guy was wide open, it was better coverage than we've seen in the past, which is not saying a lot. All right, Malik Hooker is back. That's good. And he just made a very important play, got some negative yards, tackle for loss. I'm here for it. Wow, he's way closer to the line than he normally is. And Maris was out there. Okay. I have a bad habit of ball watching. So I'm like trying to watch the defense, but my eyes get distracted. I just fall into some bad habits sometimes. Quick tackle by Deron Bland. That was an interesting front. And they got some pressure with it. Actually, they got home. They just didn't bring Geno Smith to the ground. Who was that who got their hand on the ball? That was Murray. Okay. Well, at least Murray got home. We've definitely seen worse action from Kenneth Murray. So he got home, got his hand on the ball, just couldn't bring dude down. Okay, so they didn't have George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb in the first drive, is what they're saying, which is odd choice. But they're going to be out there for the second drive. I don't know what that was all about. Well, luckily the defense got to stop. And now we get to see what the offense does in response. Interestingly enough, one of the things that Brian Schottenheimer said during his press conferences this week was that they needed to win first downs. And I wouldn't call the first downs for either side of the ball a win. But at least the defense did get the Raiders off the field. So, not a knock on them. I'm just saying that was interesting. I feel like we've watched more commercials tonight than actual football. I'm kind of over it. I'm like, can we see either of these teams sustain a drive just so we can actually like watch football? Because I'm like, yeah, the commercials are dope, cool, but like, I'm here to watch the game. All right. So the Cowboys starting from their own 4-yard line. Javante Williams getting them out to the right on the 14. I think they're gonna say he's a little bit short. Yeah, they're putting him at 2nd and 1. Well, they got the first down, even though it looks like Williams only got like 2 yards on that one. Now, on that drive, I would say they won the first down. But can they do it again? Oh my goodness. Looks like a turnover. Yikes. I wish they had a wider view of the field because I'm really curious about what Dak was seeing that made him take off running. Because I'm like, what kind of coverage were they in where Dak resorted to that so quickly? Okay, here we go. So good coverage on CD Lamb. Somebody else was running a route too, though, and they didn't show that person. I hate the broadcast view, but whatever it was, it got Dak nervous. He tried to take off running, and Max Crosby made him pay for it. Yikes. This is not a good start, y'all. Now Vegas has the ball on the Cowboys 15. So Cowboys defense in a four, okay, 5-man front. They're sending five. And Geno Smith is sacked by Kenny Clark. Okay, dope. Is this going to be a game where the offense struggles and the defense actually gets the job done? I mean, I'll take them holding the Raiders to a field goal, but if they can stop them from scoring at all, if they can get a takeaway, that would be dope. JV said, which O lineman got beat? That's something I should have been watching closer for. Um, Crosby went either on the left or up the middle. Hold on, let me tell you. All right, four-man front. That was actually a solid pass to Tucker. He just missed it. Sorry, my audio got messed up when I went to check that play, JV. But what is going on? Can you still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me. I think I might have had some technical difficulties for a second. But yeah, when Dak was fumbled, it looked like I just checked the clip one more time. It looked like all the other linemen were occupied and Crosby just took a clear path. So maybe that's what made him nervous. Not only CD being covered, but the fact that nobody was covering Max Crosby. Hold on, give me 1 second. Something's happening with my computer, and I just need to. uh, Technology is way more finicky than people acknowledge. Well, they held the Raiders to a field goal, so yeah, whatever happened on that JV, I missed it because basically what it is I've got my TV on and I've got the Roku app on my phone. So I'm listening to the audio through my phone so that my stream doesn't get shut down. Because even if I'm, even if the audio comes through without the video, like YouTube will flag it. So that's why I've got to listen to it in my ear. So when I went on my phone to look at the clip again, it like started doing some weird shit. So yeah, whatever happened, whatever happened when the Raiders scored, I completely missed it. So I'm gonna just have to check that later. But I kind of figured they would get at least a field goal in that situation. And if Logan Wilson did get beat, I mean, it is his first game. And just from the way everybody was talking, it sounds like they're putting a lot of responsibility on him to say that it's his first game with the team. Because, like, you can have talent, skills, high football IQ, but there's something to be said for chemistry with the people who are around you, you know? Oh, leaving one of the Raiders' best rushers unblocked. Yeah, no, I agree. When I went back and saw it, I'm just like, oh, nice, Cavante. Um, when I went back and saw it, I'm just like, how did nobody catch that? Like, how did they miss that? Are they finally putting Lamb and Pickens on the field together? It's like, yeah, maybe you need that combination a little bit more than you're admitting. And I don't know why They weren't using it in the beginning. Nice. That was an excellent pick by George Pickens. Talk about a tight window throw. Jeez. Winning first downs. All right, we got a 2nd and 7 for the Cowboys. Nice pass to Lipke. So this is what I'm talking about with getting other people involved. Like I feel like that's essential. And it's like it's one of the hidden benefits of having George Pickens and CD Lamb on the offense together. Another solid run by Williams. But yeah, I feel like one and two things will happen when you have Lamb and Pickens on the field together. Either somebody else is going to be open because the defense is going to be preoccupied with those two, or they're not going to have adequate coverage on those two. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, whatever your plan on the offense is, it has to account for both those scenarios. What the hell? Okay, ball batted by Booker. How many did they send? They sent four. It looks like it was just a low pass that got batted down. So third and three. His connections with CD are just not. I don't know. You said I have ads popping up. Okay, next commercial break. I'm gonna see if I can turn that off. JV, your Terrence Still commentary is wonderful. All right, let me see what I can do about these ads because like I don't even have like a big enough audience for the ads to even be that beneficial. Real shit. Why won't my computer hates me today, you guys? What the fuck is this? Sorry, my keyboard is literally not working. Remember a second ago when I said something's going on with my computer? I need a new laptop, guys. Anyway, I gotta Google whatever's going on with my laptop. Unless anybody who is watching knows what does it mean when the keys on your keyboard stop working. But sorry about the ads, JV. I'm about to have to restart my laptop. I don't know what that's going to do to the stream. I hate everything. But if it cuts everything off, I'll be back. Can you hear me now? I'm really about to just end this stream. Like, I'm really not, but like, I'm really frustrated by all the technical difficulties.
3 plays now where they just 3 tiers to the. And Ian Thomas, who doesn't get a lot of opportunity, he's primarily a blocker, but they keep Michael Mayer, the other tight end, in to do that.
Like, my Bluetooth keeps cutting off. My laptop just is rebelling against me. It's like everything is saying, hey, not tonight. Ugh. Yeah, I know you can hear the game because my Bluetooth just like randomly cut off. That's why I'm like, my laptop randomly not working, Bluetooth randomly cutting off. Why the fuck do you? If I have one more technical difficulty, I really just, I might just. Give me a second. Okay. Can you still hear me? It's still not working. So my laptop still isn't working, and I'm trying to decide if I want to just shut down the stream and fix my laptop, or if I just want to finish the stream and work on my laptop while I'm talking to you guys. Because like basically I can't reconnect my microphone until I figure out what's going on with my laptop. And it's like, I know you can hear me, but the audio probably is not great. And also, I need my laptop to work. I type for a fucking living. You know what I'm saying? And also, I can't watch the game while my laptop is fucking on the fritz. So, well, I got audio back in my ear. That's wonderful. What the hell?
All the drama.
All right, I'm gonna watch this drive and try to fix this during the commercial break, and then go from there. If I don't fix it during the commercial break, then I'm done. How did Pickens get wide open? What the hell? There was three dudes around him. They were just all like 4 yards away from him. JV, I'm laughing because I saw Terrence still just standing around looking like he didn't know who to touch, which is not what you want to see anybody on your O line doing ever. But Dak still got that ball off to Pickens. Why did they keep giving Pickens so much room though? Oh, shout out to Malik Davis. Nice run by Javante Williams. All right. Cowboys are moving now. I might stay on to watch another defensive drive too, just because I missed most of the last one because my laptop decided to rebel against me. This is kind of a big deal, you guys. If my laptop doesn't work, I can't type. If I can't type, I can't do my job. Oh, and that's right. And my stream is playing ads that I can't turn off. Hold on, let me see if I can turn them off from my phone. Give me a second. And no, I cannot. Or JV, did you mean that's a strange commercial time in the game? Because if that's what you're saying, I 100% agree. But it's like I was saying earlier, I feel like they're showing more commercials than football in this game, and it's really kind of annoying. Well, I'm glad no ads are popping up anymore. I think what happens is when people start to join the stream, they pop up, which is really kind of annoying because like it just makes people leave the stream. So I'm like, why would you do that? All right, second quarter, 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. That was a great catch by Pickens, just out of bounds. No, JV, I feel you on the capitalism, but I'm just like, how much do you really need? Damn. But it was the change of the quarter, so that's probably why. All right. Trying to focus on the game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm distracted. They seem to be doing a lot of compressed formations today. And then CeeDee Lamb wide open. The Raiders defense is playing like the Cowboys defense. Damn. JV, why are you giddy? Because CeeDee got a touchdown. All right. It had CeeDee to the right. And yeah, he just ran past everybody. nobody nobody watched him. Nobody was carrying the coverage. They just literally watched him run into the end zone and catch a pass. What the fuck? That is fucking bananas. Okay, I can't figure out what's going on. I might not only end this stream, I might delete it. I just feel like this has just been worse than normal. Oh shit, I fixed it. Okay, we might be back in business. I hate everything. JV, let me know if there's still ads popping up, and I should be able to turn them off now. So my apologies to anyone who's been trying to watch the stream and it's just been terrible. Technical difficulties are the worst. All right, I'm gonna try to. Is that low-key Ferguson might lose his touches to sorry, it's not showing the thing, to Hunter and Lipke. Honestly, that might not be the worst thing, just because they seem to need Ferguson to help steal so much. But I feel like that still goes to your point about wanting to put Steele on the bench. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to cut the audio off for a second. Okay, can you hear me? Jeffy, let me know if you can still hear me. I just want to make sure my audio is working now that I fixed a laptop. Okay, awesome. Now the Raiders are just playing terribly, but I'm also not looking at the screen. I can't find the option right now. I'm sorry, JV. I know there is an option to turn off the ads. Maybe if I just turn off monetization on this, that'll do it. All right, so I just turned off monetization. Hopefully that does it. Let me know if you see another one. I appreciate you for workshopping this with me. Jeez, what the hell is going on? It looks like Maris is getting more snaps. I'm gonna be excited to look into that later. JV, I don't actually make money from any of this. Like, I don't even have a big enough following to actually make any money. So I'm not really losing anything by turning off monetization. Look at Jerry smiling. Jerry feeling real good about himself right now. Now, Quentin Williams looks like he was built for an attack front defense. I feel like every week I have to ask, is it still an attack front defense? Quentin Williams says yes. Yes, it is. I appreciate that, JV, but I really make like nothing. Like, with the number of people in this stream, I would probably like make less than a penny from them running ads every what seemed like every few minutes, honestly. Like, I would need literally like thousands of people in here to see the ads for me to make like anything. Is that why people don't send me super chats? They think I actually make money off this? But like, just to give you an example, JV, with all the content that I've made over the past 28 days, so like my live streams, my videos, my shorts, and everything, I've made like $3 and some change. And you can't even like I can't actually withdraw any money until it equals at least $100. So even though it says like, oh, you've made $3, like I can't actually touch any of it. Like, at that rate, I'll be able to withdraw money in about 3 years. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, just turn the monetization off. If people can't hear what I'm saying because like it keeps running ads, like I'm just not gonna show the ads. Not for 3 people. Yes, JV, $3 whole. Here, I'll even look. Hold on. So if I go to my content and I'm trying to see what got the most views recently. So I have a short that got 2,626 views. Not bad for me. Um, I'm trying to see if it'll show me on here how much money this short made. Okay, so those 2,000 views, and this is like the most views I've gotten on anything. Estimated revenue is 45 cents from those 2,000 something views. Most of my stuff gets less than 100 views. My shorts get less than 1,000. My lives get less than 100. If I go to one of my lives that did relatively well, so I had a live stream that, the last Monday night watch along, 133 views. And so if I click on that one, go to analytics, 34 cents. So yeah, I will sacrifice that 34 cents if it means that y'all don't have to deal with ads. And it's like I can always turn it back on. So if anybody actually does watch a replay, like it'll be there. But honestly, after this is over, I'll probably delete the stream because most of it has been me fixing my computer. So unless I just have an excellent second half, I'm probably gonna get rid of this, you know? You said you don't have a following? Do you make content, JB? My TikTok following is really growing. My YouTube following, it has spurts. It's like every now and then I'll post something that like gets new eyes on it. But honestly, like I really do think it is harder for women. And so it's like I like streaming, I like doing online content, and I like my radio show, but I don't think that'll ever be like my bread and butter. Um at like at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, I have somebody in my comments talking about I don't take sports news or analysis from women. And so hold on, I'm gonna finish this after this snap. So we got Dak and shotgun getting the pass off to Pickens, who fights for. Did he get the first down? Or are they gonna mark him short? I like that the Cowboys are doing well, but I feel like what we're seeing is more of the Raiders just falling the fuck off for some reason in the second quarter than the Cowboys actually playing better. So we got Dak under center this time. Little play action. That was not a complete pass. Was it? Hold on. Show me that again. Yeah, I thought it hit the ground too. The announcer saying it hit the ground. That's what I saw. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like, I don't think that was a complete pass. All right, we got a 2nd and 10. At least it wasn't another turnover. Turnover. All right, pass to Pickens. Got like what, 7 yards? 6, 7? If he said, why is Tolbert in the game? Why shouldn't he be in the game? Do you hate Tolbert like you hate Terrence Steele? Excellent. CeeDee Lamb be playing in a lot of jewelry. CeeDee Lamb is really good at those routes where he starts to the outside and then goes back to the inside. All right, Dak under center. Handoff. Malik Davis is looking good. I guess he figured since he was still there after the trade deadline, he was like, I'm not throwing away this shot. I like seeing everybody blocking too. That's good. Well, JV, they say that they base everything off what they see in practice. I feel like Malik Davis is a way better compliment for Javante Williams than Jaden Blue is, just because of their running styles, or at least based on what we're seeing tonight. Because I've been saying all season that they were going to need a compliment as the season went on. Whoa, nice. There were two defenders in CD's vicinity, but not nearly as tight of coverage as what we were seeing earlier. Looks like the Raiders play zone about as well as the Cowboys do. Who was that they got out wide at the top of the screen? No gain on the run that time. You said, was I being funny with the zone defense comment? I mean, it's true. It can be funny if you think that's funny, but I mean, it's just an observation. It's like they play in zone and giving CD and George Pickens like way too much cushion. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Like, it's like, I'm here for it, but like, why would you do that? But now we got fourth and one. I feel like they just need to focus on the one. I just hope they're not tempted to try to get in the end zone right now. All right, they're taking the time out to think it over. Because it's like, it's only a 4-point margin. You know what I'm saying? But I think as long as they just focus on the one, they'll be okay. If they're not like, we need to get in the end zone right now. But so it's like they're showing these like highlights from throughout the game, and it's like you can see that when they were playing men, they were on top of Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. And I don't know if they got away from it because like Pickens was still making catches. Like that was during that stretch when Pickens got a few targets in a row. And so I don't know if that's why they got away from it, but what they've moved to is not really doing them any favors. They're not looking much better. All right. It says fourth and one, but it's actually a little bit more than one. And he did go for the end zone anyway to Ferguson. Touchdown Cowboys. Raiders got some shit to think about. Because, like I said, that drive, the Cowboys did do some things better, but I feel like the Raiders just were looking way worse in terms, especially in terms of their coverage. That was an interesting celebration. You know what, JV? I'm glad you're hyped right now because I don't think we're going to get a lot of games like this in terms of like having a lead that's greater than one possession for the rest of the season. And I could be wrong. That's like always my caveat. That's always my disclaimer. I could totally be wrong. But I'm glad that you're enjoying this. You should make the most of it, for real. And extra point is good. Of course it is. So we'll see if the Cowboys defense can keep it 17-6. Seven with the entire fuck. But yeah, what I was saying earlier, JV, is I don't expect streaming to be my bread and butter. It's literally just something that I like to do. I like to do stuff like this. If I didn't, I wouldn't still be here. Like if it were about the numbers, I wouldn't still be on here. I like when my audience grows. I like when new people find my content and they like it, of course. But it's like I'm still out here applying for jobs. Part of the reason I started writing was so that I'd have more stuff to add to my resume and more skills. Like that's why I write. Because I don't really get paid that much for writing either. That's why I still have a whole other two jobs. So when I told y'all, like, I didn't watch film or I didn't like study the stats because I was too busy working, it's not like, oh, I was writing all day. Sometimes I am writing on those days, but it's usually I was working my other two jobs. And then I find time in between those two jobs to watch film, study the game, so on and so forth. So that's my life every day. We still have the commodes and the gadgets. Okay, I'm guessing you mean the commanders, but who are the gadgets? Are you talking about the Giants? Because I do expect both those to be wins for the Cowboys. With the commanders, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if they might turn the corner, but like after what I've seen from them recently, um, yeah, I definitely expect that to be a win. Well, JV, I'm glad that you like my streams and content, and I appreciate your support over the years. You know, one thing I did notice earlier, I've only been on YouTube for 3 years, which I think is an adequate amount for most streamers. But I think the thing for me is when I first got on YouTube, I had to figure out how to do YouTube. And it's like there have been several times during those 3 years that I've taken like months off at a time. So this is probably like the first time that I've like felt confident in my takes and been determined to be consistent and not like, okay, I'm gonna stop streaming it all because I'm busy. Because like it's only been 3 years and I can think of at least three times, if not four, that I just like stopped making content for like 3 months, like anywhere from 1 to 3 months. So we'll see what this time period does for me. Maris, why did you hesitate? I think Maris' lack of snaps has got him in his own head a little bit. All right. I had a little bit of a delayed blitz situation. You see what I mean, JV, though? About how the Raiders played zone about as well as the Cowboys do. Did you see that just now? Like there was nobody who was really a threat to Bowers. He was just in the middle of a bunch of dudes and nobody was close to him, which is like if you're trying to make a tackle after they catch the ball, cool. But if you're trying to prevent a completion, that's just not gonna cut it. Malik is looking good today too. And that was just a terrible throw. Goodness. I appreciate the compliment, JB. And yeah, I'm gonna stick with it at least for now because like I do want to see what can happen if I make the decision to just like be consistent. Plus, if I actually do end up getting a job that gives me a little bit of a higher profile, I think that'll help. So any other job I get, I just hope they let me keep streaming, because there's some places you'll work for and they'll be like, it's really not a good look if you write for us or if you do work for us and you have your own thing going. So that's gonna be like my main thing. So yeah, even though I don't think it'll ever be my bread and butter, I don't plan on stopping. I might diversify my content a little bit just because there's so many other things that I want to talk about besides Cowboys, right? And what has happened like over the past couple years is it's been way easier for me to talk about the Cowboys because I was writing about the Cowboys. And I started writing about the Cowboys because a lot of my favorite players are Cowboys players. And then the whole thing with Girls Talk Boys Talk. Nice job, Maris. I can't wait to see how many snaps Maris gets tonight. Like, I'm distracted tonight, but like these film sessions are gonna be fun. But what was I saying? First down Raiders. Okay, Maris. I can tell Maris is trying to do better with the tackling. He's trying. His form still needs a little bit of work, but at least he's not completely missing dudes. All right, 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Looks like they're sending for the Cowboys are. Ooh, ball tipped and picked. Who tipped it? Was that Kenneth Murray again? Yeah, it was. Kenneth Murray has made a couple of good plays tonight. I think he heard y'all talking shit. I kind of want to see that again. No, Kenneth Murray definitely heard y'all talking shit because like he has been trying to make an impact today. He was like, I might still suck at tackling, but I will put pressure on the quarterback and or impact the game some other way. Said y'all not about to bring in this dude to replace me his first game. All right, so now we got the Cowboys offense back on the field. Oh Jesus! God damn, Dak almost got picked off. I was trying to figure out why dude was on the ground. Like, was he disappointed that he didn't catch the ball, or was he hurt? But his head did hit the ground, so hopefully they are checking on him. Okay, short run, short run. Why did Ferguson hold on? I'm trying to understand the memes, not the meme, the mime celebration by Ferguson. And the only thing I can think of is that like a lot of times when corners want to like celebrate their coverage, like preventing a play because of their coverage, they'll say that they put a target in the box. And so I'm wondering if that's some way of saying like, oh, you can't put me in a box or something like that. I just feel like there's like some subliminal meaning. Cute celebration though. It's very memeable. But no, overall, I like what I've seen from the Cowboys defense today. They're not it's not 100% perfect or anything. Like there's still room for improvement, but I can see that like some of the guys individually are stepping up, like Kenneth Murray. I'm also seeing just like some smarter decisions in terms of like the variation in formation and or the variation in front specifically and how that's being used. Now, we still have to remember this is the Raiders. And I think I said that during the week. I said, hey, this is a good game to try some different things. So it's like if you want to try um different personnel groupings, if you want to try different fronts and coverages, this is definitely the game to do it. So I said that. So maybe that's what they're doing. But it's like where they're at right now, they can't stay there. They're gonna have to build on this. Like they look good, but I feel like them doing this against the Raiders is making them look better than they actually are, if that makes sense. But hopefully it inspires them to keep going in this direction. Like that's the idea. It's all about trajectory, you know. Things are going to change from week to week regardless. All right, Dak and shotgun, 3rd and 10. Looks like DPI in the favor of CD Lamb, but apparently there's 2 flags on the game on the play. Let's see what they are. Oh wow. Sorry. Got you flopping like that. I'm like, you got hit in the face. You didn't need to flop onto the ground like that. What was the call? So, okay, so we got unnecessary roughness and pass interference. All right, so it makes sense to take the pass interference. Unnecessary roughness. Hold on. I'm looking at this replay of what happened between someone get guidance some acting skills. Oh my god, that was terrible. That was terrible. That was so bad. It was so terrible. Javante is taking the fuck off. Was he down? Scared the shit out of me. I feel like the Cowboys could afford to have like some of the guys from WWE teach them how to fall when they get hit like that. Because like if you're gonna act, if you're gonna do that anyway, at least do it right. What the hell was that? And I get it. Guyton's a big dude. He might not know what it feels like to fall when somebody hits him. That might be something that he has to learn how to channel, you know. He might not have a point of reference. Like, how does it feel to like actually fall when somebody hits you? Yeah. And of course, one of my lights went out. This is wonderful. I'm gonna try turning on my lamp. Give me a second. I'm gonna be right back. That kind of helps a little bit. Whatever. Nice. That was actually decent coverage on Pickens. He's just too fast. He's just too fast. And Lamb is doing that wave thing again. It's the second quarter, fam. At least save it for the third quarter. Oh yeah, he's definitely getting a flag for that celebration. Is George Pickens just trying to collect unsportsmanlike penalties? That was a hell of a cut back in. That was nice. That was nice, Pickens. Like he beat the coverage, goes out, and then right back in, just making dudes miss. That was lovely. 48-yard extra point. What's the flag for now? Offsides, but just take the point. Let's move on. Are they going to go for two? What are they doing? $250 of total offense in the first half is phenomenal. Okay, that's the smart thing to do. Decline the penalty, take the point, just move on. Somebody else did that celebration this weekend. I don't remember who it was, but that person also got a penalty. I'm glad you find that question funny, JV. I did find out a little bit about what's up with the strict unsportsmanlike calls this year. So apparently, what it is that as the NFL is trying to expand globally, they want to prevent altercations between players because that's not a good look to the audiences that they're trying to shop the game to globally. Okay, whatever. Um, So basically, anything they're trying to get rid of anything that can lead to an altercation, which it's been. I don't even know how successful it's been. I'm gonna have to look at the stats on that later in the season. Because it's like I feel like there's been an uptick in dudes spitting on each other for some reason, which is disgusting. It is disgusting. Like that is just nasty behavior. But basically that's why they've gotten so strict on the unsportsmanlike penalties and what is unacceptable in behavior and in celebrations and stuff like that. So that's that. Probably in a minute, I'm gonna try to adjust my camera and my other light so that y'all can still see me. But yeah, JV, I can't remember exactly what I was telling you earlier, but the point that I was trying to get to is like this is the first time that I felt. Oh, I was talking about wanting to cover other things besides the Cowboys. So yeah, that's gonna take some time. And this is probably the most confident and comfortable that I've ever felt with things like watching film and like actually including more analysis in my content. But I really do like talking about the intersection between culture and sports. I like talking about international sports. So, like with the World Cup coming to Dallas, like I want to talk about soccer. I want to talk more about tennis. Like I love tennis. There's football leagues around the world that I want to talk about. The Japan X League is so dope. So it's like all the stuff that I want to talk about that I just got to find time to do. And in the past, since I was on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, and I was writing about the Cowboys, it was just easier to make content about the Cowboys because since I was writing about the Cowboys, um, it was easy to just like talk about the same stuff that I had to research in order to write. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a whole lot of double work. But now that I'm more comfortable watching the Cowboys and giving my takes and I can write a little bit faster, I'm like, okay, now I have a little bit of time freed up to where I can talk about some of these other topics that I like to talk about. And sometimes I have done it. Like I've done the episodes that were like about like the lawsuits that were taking place or like different business transactions, you know? Um so it's like I found time here and there, but I just want to be like more consistent with it. Like I still want to talk about the Cowboys because they're still my favorite NFL team and football is still my favorite sport. Like I don't see that changing, but I have other interests too and I want to give them some attention. Oh, they almost got another pick. That would have been so dope for Bland. Oh, that was a hell of a throw. It might be too little too late for the Raiders, though, at least for this half. But they do get the ball at the start of the third. So we got Demo in the game. We got Logan Wilson in the game. Do we know who has the green dot tonight? Have they said it? Have they shown it? A lot of times they have multiple dudes on defense pointing fingers. How many dudes they have on the line of scrimmage? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I mean, with 40 seconds left, might as well go all out. They send 5-2 drop back, stop him before the first down. Puts the Raiders at like second and what, three? But what we just saw is kind of what I was talking about on when we talked about it. I can't remember if I said it on Tuesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday when I was talking about it. When I was talking about how um Schottenheimer was saying that he likes the way that Logan Wilson attacks the ball. And I was just like, but they haven't really schemed up the linebackers to attack the ball a whole lot this year. But I will say, dang, another defensive player almost got their hands on it. That was Rebel. But I will say what they do have the linebackers doing looks a lot more intentional. I think in the past it looked like the linebackers were just kind of hanging back, but I they wouldn't be coached to do that. So I was just kind of like, what is going on? I will say that at least Wilson looks like he knows where he's supposed to be and where he's going. He doesn't look nearly as lost as the linebackers have looked at other points uh, in other games. And so hopefully that's rubbing off on the rest of the linebacker room. I can talk, I promise. JV, what are you going to the store for at halftime? Are you so excited that you like, are you drinking tonight? Did they actually get to him with four? One, two, three, four. So James Houston and Quentin Williams. If they're actually getting home before, well then Quentin Williams is my new favorite player because that's what we've been needing literally all season. Literally all season. In training camp, Eberflus was like, yeah, attack front, attack front, attack front. And they haven't really been able to execute that properly. Mainly because they haven't been able to get home with four. So if Quentin Williams' presence is enabling them to do that, to me, that the trade is paid off that alone. Now, see, that's what we don't need more of the pre snap penalties. Like lining up in the neutral zone, that's just giving away yards. We don't need that. Do better. Now, the Raiders' offensive line hasn't been great all season either. So we have to take that into consideration as well. So I'm like, by all means, like as Cowboys fans, we should be excited for what we're seeing just because, like, if we don't celebrate this, what are we going to celebrate? But I'm just saying, moving forward, it's like, have fun watching this game, but don't start thinking, like, oh my God, the team has turned things around. Like, no, the Raiders' O line is not good. They haven't been good. The Raiders as a team have not been good. So it's like we need what we're seeing tonight is a good thanks for listening while I'm driving, JB. I appreciate you. Um but what we're seeing tonight is like a good baseline. It's a good place for them to start building from. But yeah, There's still a lot that they need to work on. This is an excellent post bye week game, though. So 3rd down and 5, they got 8 seconds left. I feel like they should have just gone for the field goal here, especially since they're getting the ball back at the top of the third quarter. But I mean, hey, it's not my team. Excellent coverage by Carson. They still got 4 seconds to take the 3 points if they want to do that. Seatbelt, love it. $38 easy peasy for most kickers these days. And that brings us to halftime. JV, what are you buying? What kind of liquor are you getting? Ava said Brian Schottenheimer should be pleased with how his team is playing. He should. He should be pleased but not satisfied, in my opinion. Gentleman Jack. You know what? I have a friend who. Hold on, I'm listening to Pete Carroll. He said they're getting it done with number 3, and they've been wide open a couple of times. But that's because here's what I think happened with the Raiders defense. They were playing man a good bit. And I won't say most because I haven't looked at the stats on it, but a lot of defenses, they'll try to stay in zone more than man, especially in the first half of the game, just because of like energy levels and shit, right? Um, but they were playing man and actually had pretty good coverage, but it wasn't getting the job done. And so I feel like they switched to zone to try to account for more of the Cowboys' weapons, but all they really did was like give the biggest threats more room. And so their coverage actually is looking better when they play man. But can they play man enough to actually slow down the Cowboys offense? And if they can't, how would they adjust their zone? Now for the Cowboys, things are going well. I feel like all the Cowboys need to do, the Cowboys need to look ahead in the sense that they don't necessarily need to look ahead to the next opponent. Like you don't want to take this win for granted this early, right? But I do think they need to think about the fact that like, okay, the teams that we're going to play after this are better teams than this. What do we need to clean up? What do we need to do better in order to make sure that that we're prepared for those teams, you know? So for me that means seeing Malik Davis run the ball a little bit more. Definitely cleaning up the pre-snap penalties. Like it hasn't been a lot or anything, but like I feel like in a game like this, it shouldn't be any. Um, if they do have some ideas in mind for packages that involve non-dominant threats, like basically weapons besides CD Lamb and George Pickens, they should kind of practice those a little bit. And on the defensive side, it's like, okay, if you do plan to use Logan Wilson in certain roles moving forward, then like, yeah, get him some more snaps. Yeah, JV, what I was about to tell you is I have a friend who only drinks brown liquor. She said that it doesn't give her headaches like at all ever, the way that clear liquor does. I'm gonna ask her what she thinks about Gentleman Jack. I'm gonna see if I can fix this light real quick. Give me 1 second. Is that better? One day I'm gonna get my shit together, you guys. One day I'm gonna just get like a new setup. Yes, and my hair is frizzy as fuck. Whatever. One day I'm gonna get a new setup, and these problems won't be problems anymore. I feel like I had more technical difficulties today at the beginning than I've had in a long time. Like normally it's one thing, like the audio isn't working or just doesn't sound good. Today it was the audio. I had to restart the laptop. Light went out. It's been a night. But just like the Cowboys had to get their shit together, I had to get my shit together too. I feel like we came together at the same time. What the fuck is that? Oh, that's a thing from Avatar. Interesting. I haven't seen any of the Avatar movies since the first one. Need to plug in my phone. So yeah, I don't even know who these characters are. It looks dope though. The movie is coming out in a month. Ryan Clark is silly. I feel like after halftime, I'm trying to anticipate. I'm trying to get better at making predictions, you guys. So I'm trying to anticipate what we're gonna see from both sides of the ball. So Raiders are gonna have the ball. I feel like now that they have a little bit more time, we might see them try to take more shots downfield. So they might test the secondary a little bit more. But I also feel like they're going to anticipate that, and we might see an increase in pressures of 5 men or more. Maybe. It might not need it. Like, they're figuring out how to get home with four, which is, I'm so excited about that. Like, getting home with four, that's what we've needed. Maybe we'll see more cleanup and flow from the linebackers. That's something I feel like that's something that they can safely introduce in a game like this and see how it goes. especially considering the fact that the Raiders are going to try to probably not get fancy per se, but they're definitely going to try to throw something different at the Cowboys so they can get some momentum in the second half. Because even if they do lose, I guarantee you they don't want to lose like this, not with this big of a point margin. Let me pull my stats back up. I didn't bring that up after the restart. So the Cowboys started the game with a 58% chance of winning. They're now at 92%. Let's see. Dak right now is 13 of 19, 185 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, although he got close. Geno Smith, 16 of 28, 167 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. Poor guy. Javonte Williams and Malik Davis. I don't know why it felt like Malik Davis had more than 2 carries. But according to the stats, 2 carries for 15 yards from Malik Davis, 12 carries for 50 yards from Javonte Williams. And the Raiders' run game, Lord, only 4 attempts the entire first half. Goodness. So the Raiders, it just feels like on both sides of the ball have just made some unwise adjustments. They went all the way away from the run game. And on the defensive side, just their decision to play zone the way that they were playing, it did them no favors. So like the way the Cowboys be talking about looking in the mirror all the time, it almost feels like them playing the Raiders is them looking in the mirror, but like more so in the past. Like the Cowboys tonight have made adjustments that actually make sense for them. They're making adjustments in the positive direction. Las Vegas Raiders, the adjustments that they've made look a lot like how the Cowboys have looked at their worst, if that makes sense. 4 attempts. I don't know. One of the first things that I was taught about football was that the 2 most important things are to run the ball and stop the run. So when I see a team that is not doing either of those things, I'm just like, just start there with fixing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like y'all are struggling, and maybe that's why. Especially with it being that your quarterback is not playing well. It's like the pressure is getting to him. The offensive line is not great, which honestly may be the root of all their problems. Everything starts in the trenches. Even Brian Schottenheimer says that. And it's just like the Raiders' offensive line has not been good. So they're having trouble running the ball. They're having trouble passing the ball. But on those 2 carries for Ashton Jainty, okay. I was about to say he's got 5 yards per carry, but that's a little bit misleading. So he's had 2 carries and for a total of 10 yards, but his longest carry was 11. So he had 1 carry for -1 yards. But that's why I always look at like not only their yards per carry, but how many of their carries are 3 yards or more, and how many of their carries end up being negative. And so if I were to look at the stats as they are now, it's like, okay, Ashton JT, 50% of your carries, now that's a small sample size, so it's not really fair, but 50% of your carries are for a loss, they're for negative yards. That's not good. I'm tired. It's been a long ass day. I have been up since 2:30. I did have a little nap during the day, but I'm not about to lie to y'all and be like and make y'all think that that nap was sufficient. I'm exhausted. Good punt from Aubrey. Nice tackle by Leofow. I need to figure out what happened to the Mayor's Leofow fan club because people were pounding the table for him to get more snaps, and then they got quiet. JV, you said you like Shoddy's shirt, the Marshawn Nealon shirt. They did do a good job on those shirts. They're nice. And more technical difficulties. My phone was doing so well. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I don't know if I need new headphones or what, because I used to never have this problem. Looks like my headphones will just randomly disconnect. All right, Raiders got the ball. I can't hear anything. Reddy Stewart out there looking like a little Tasmanian devil. And I've got audio back. Awesome. All right, we've got the 5 down front that everybody loves so much. And they send all 5. Good coverage by Bland. Nice. Couldn't ask for a better first drive by the defense. So is Eberflus actually calling this? Like, is this something that he could have been doing all season and just wasn't? Like, because it's like I get that personnel makes a difference, but that much of a difference, really? I don't know. I wish I could be a fly on the wall because I know that the coaching staff has been collaborating on various things. It's just like if you listen to Schottenheimer talk about just a lot of the footage review that they've done, a lot of the discussions that they've done about what's working and what's not working, you can kind of tell that different coaches are giving different input on different things, and I get that. But so I'm just like, how much of what we're seeing tonight is Schottenheimer in control of? You know what I'm saying? This Wingstop commercial is making me hungry. I want some wings. I really need a healthy alternative to chicken wings because, like, chicken wings are one of my favorite foods, real talk. But it's just so many calories and so many calories from fat, you know? And I've tried alternatives to chicken wings like I don't like boneless chicken wings. At least not from restaurants because a lot of them they do it's a lot of breading. It's a hell of a lot of breading. If I do anything that's close to boneless chicken wings, what you do is you find a Japanese restaurant that sells karage because karage is also chopped up chicken thighs, but they just don't put as much breading. So it's more meat than breading. And if you order it from them, they'll sell it to you plain, but it's just like you just kind of have to have your own sauce that you can coat them in. And that's probably the closest thing that I found to like uh, a substitute for chicken wings that's like a little bit lower in calories. Like it's still fried, so it's still a lot of calories, but it's not as bad as the amount of fat that's in like regular chicken wings. So, pro tip if it ever comes up. And then another thing is the fact that I actually like seafood more than I like chicken wings, but seafood is obviously more expensive. All right, where are we at? Second and four for the Cowboys. They break the huddle and go into Dak under center. CD at the bottom of the screen, George at the top. Pickens breaking tackles again, gets the first down. Maybe Pickens keeps getting the unsportsmanlike penalties so he won't get like a major offer to leave. Maybe that's his way of saying he wants to be a Cowboy. He's like, look, I'm gonna get some crazy good completions, first downs. I'm gonna score all of that, right? But then I'm gonna just do some boneheaded shit that'll make nobody want me. Because like if you watch like any of the mainstream sports media, they've been saying that. They're like, he's in a contract year. Why would he do this and get these penalties that make people wonder if he's still the same guy that he was when he was with the Steelers? Which when I started reading a lot of those articles, I'm just like, his supposed issues were so fucking exaggerated. It's ridiculous. Nice, nice. So it brings us to a third and short. Hell yeah, Pickens. Oh shit. He is still not down. They be giving up on these tackles on Pickens so quick. They think they brought him down, and he's like, nope. I want to study his mechanics. Cause like I'm just watching these cuts, the way he loads his legs to switch directions, the way he bends his body to get out of tackles without hitting the ground. It's good stuff. All right, Dak under center takes the snap. Everybody blocking, gets the ball off to Lipke, first down, and the offense is rolling. That water boy was like really concentrating on getting that liquid in George Pickens' mouth. I've never seen such an intense stare. All right, Dak under center. So we got two backs. JV, you talking about Hunter Lucky taking Ferguson receptions, but Ferguson still got in the end zone though. Malik Davis gets the first down. I really like the Malik Davis and Javante Williams pairing. I really do. I really do. Their run styles are similar enough for them to sub in and out of the game for each other without it being like a huge drop off. Because if you remember, that was my issue with Blue, was that his style was too different and there was a huge drop off in production that was not good for the offense. But a little play action. Well, there's your Ferguson reception for you, JV, for -2 yards. Um, but yeah, these two together, they complement each other well, and you don't have that drop off in production. And that's what you want from your running back duo, unless you have the kind of play caller and coordinator who can prepare you for two different styles like that, which looks to not be the case with the Cowboys. There we go. Pickett must have thought he was closer to the end zone than he really was. And Dak is making choir director hand motions. What is this? What is this? I don't know. Whatever. They're on the 3 yard line. Malik Davis. Oh, he wanted to get in the end zone so bad. Give him another chance, Dad. What is that noise? All right, we got Dak under center. Somebody in the backfield. Who is that? Oh, that's Javante. There you go, JB. Flournoy. You happy? They said he was wide open, but he really wasn't. But that was still a good catch. He definitely was not wide open. But that was just a good catch. He didn't need to be wide open. That was a great route. Good job, Flournoy. If you got to split snaps with Jalen Tolbert, go out there and run routes like that. Make them second guess that. It's like, are you sure you don't want me to have more snaps? Hold on, let me look at something. So Dak has spread the ball around to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 targets tonight. Flournoy, Javante, and Tolbert have each only had one target. Jalen Tolbert got one target and no receptions. So I think what we see from Tolbert and Flournoy for the rest of the night will tell us a lot about how they feel about what they've seen so far. Because that was an excellent route by Flournoy. Like if I were in charge of the offense, I'd be like, give him a few more snaps. I want to see if he can do that again. Was that a fluke? Or can he do that consistently? Because that's really the thing. It's like it's about consistency. Like you can look good one time. Like these guys are pros. They have the skills and the talent to look good one time. But can you keep doing it? I'm gonna fix my camera. I want to sit back on my chair, but like y'all aren't gonna be able to see me. It won't go down. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Well, not that far down. Okay, there we go. That should work. My poor hair. For Christmas, I want a new chair and a new chair cushion. Yeah, Quentin Williams is definitely one of my new favorites. Thank you for saying my hair is amazing, JV. It frustrates me. I will say I really do like Maris on special teams. I want him to get more snaps on defense, but his contributions on special teams just don't get talked about enough. There are so many times that he's like the guy that stops the returner. Like he doesn't get pushed back. He's like, I'm gonna catch you and you're stopping right here. You're not going any further. All right, Logan Wilson making contributions. That was actually a solid pass rush. Smith just happened to get that ball off. Logan Wilson is very, very pink. I'm gonna chalk that up to him being up north for so long. 'Cause I'm like, damn. Yeah, you need to get out in this Texas sun, sir. Okay, I'm seeing some better tackling from these guys. Third and short, they'll probably convert. Unless they try to get too cute and the Cowboys make them pay for it. You said you're starting to like Logan Wilson, JV? I'm not going to decide tonight whether or not I like him. Well, I have decided that I like Quentin Williams. All right, so we got the 5 down front. False start? That's terrible. You're third in like half a yard. How did you do that to yourself? That was close, Bland. You almost missed that one. You said we'll never see Sanborn in a Cowboys jersey ever again? I mean, maybe. He's had a couple of injuries this year. I don't really blame anyone, or I wouldn't really blame the Cowboys for not really relying on him too much. He didn't really put anything so great on film that would make you say he needs to be out there, and you combine that with the injuries, and it's just kind of like, yeah, let's see what these other guys can do. Hmm. This commercial is all facts. Most of us don't inherit enough money to buy our first home. Well, JV, that's because I create content. So yes, I say all that about Sanborn because I have to say more than just he ain't it. I could say that. I'm still tired. But I was like, I'm determined to not end this stream early, especially after all the technical difficulties that happened at the beginning and I still stayed on. I'm like, I feel like I have to finish this game now. But there's definitely part of me that wants to like wash my face, put my hair in a bonnet, and curl up under the covers to watch the rest of this game. I wonder what y'all would do if I did a stream like that. If I just popped on in a bonnet and a bonnet under the covers. All right, so now we got a 4th and 1 from the Raiders, and they're going forward. Get him, Maris! Oh, got him, but he got the first down. I'm just so excited to see Maris getting more snaps, and especially in the 5-down formation. I'm just like, yes, this is what they should have been doing. I don't know what the fuck happened in week 9. Oh, that was a hard fall for Easy. So we got Geno Smith under center. He's getting the ball out faster. The Cowboys need to adjust to that. So we got Logan Wilson, Reddy Stewart, and Shamar James. They just put Reddy Stewart everywhere. I don't know what the plan is for him. They've had him play safety, corner, and in the linebacker position. The Cowboys' defense's tackling has looked a lot better tonight. Way better. Way better. All right, Geno Smith and shotgun. Another first down for the Raiders. They're moving down the field. But he's getting the ball out a lot quicker. He's not holding it. He's not waiting. They are running very quick and simple routes. Basically making their way down the field just a few yards at a time, which is like, if that's what you get, like, make use of what you got. Now that's what I'm talking about. So what we saw was the defensive lineman rush, linebackers quickly followed. I would like to see way more of that. And yes, I know they did that because it was a run play, but it's like in the past there have been run plays where they weren't doing that, or it seemed like they were just confused as to what they were supposed to do. Like, it just looks like they have a much better idea of what they're doing tonight. Nice. Good job, Clowney. I don't think Geno Smith saw that coming. I bet that surprised the shit out of him. I don't think he realized Clowney was close enough to do that. I'm yawning. Oh, well, we're in the fourth quarter now. Come on, Shotty, chill out. I might have to order some Whataburger after this. Like, but I'm also sleepy, so I really should just go to bed. These commercials are making me hungry. Have y'all seen that commercial that's like, um, it's basically about how football is secretly trying to sell us food? That's how I feel right now. So all these commercials are just making me hungry. But yeah, the Raiders are just chipping away down the field, which is like, that's something that the Cowboys are going to have to work on, is like how to mitigate even the short yardage situations. But it's just like they're not going to catch up like that. So the Cowboys pretty much have this game in the bag. Like, if it takes the Raiders a whole half a fucking quarter to get down the field and try to score, yeah, this game is done. So I'll say, even if they do score, the defense has done its job in the sense that it's made it difficult enough for them to do that, to where they have to take so much time. Because the only way they can come back is if they somehow figure out how to score like very quickly at this point. So I was about to say, what the hell is this commercial for? Okay, Hulu's being weird. I think Hulu's feeling themselves for stealing so many customers from YouTube. All right. Nice. Nice stop, Cowboys. They're going for it. If it was like 4th and 1, I could see this, but 4th and 4, I don't know. Man, they do have a lot of Cowboys fans there. All right. Got 6 guys close to the line. He's going to get the first down. I feel like had he just risked it, he could have made it into the end zone. But it's like, do you really want to risk that for a team that's clearly not going to the playoffs? Maybe not. And touchdown Raiders. But look at how fucking long that took. And I mean, honestly, the Cowboys now have the liberty to just eat the fucking clock if they want to, because the Cowboys are not in a hurry. JV, our defensive tackles probably are tired. That was a long ass drive. Hold on, let me see how long that was. So that was the first play of that drive was with 6 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter. So that was a damn near 8-minute drive. Said Kenny Clark was basically jogging. Well, at that point, the touchdown for the Raiders was kind of inevitable. They had been on the field for 8 minutes. That's a long time in football time. That's a long time for a defense. So yeah, that'll wear defense down. That'll wear down a defensive line. But if they're able to stick with it for that long, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Half a quarter. So it's like if you're only gonna score once in half a quarter, okay. So it's like I'm not mad at the fact that they got tired. They were out there for a long ass time. Now what needs to happen is Dak needs to make sure and keep them off the field for a long time. So for multiple reasons, it would be incumbent upon Dak to just eat the clock. It would be incumbent upon the Cowboys to eat the clock right now. Their defense needs to rest, and they're not in a hurry to score. So they need to run the ball, short passes. They should challenge themselves to see if they can keep the ball away from the Raiders for the entire fourth quarter, just to see if they can do it. Now, at some point, the Raiders defense will probably also get tired, and you know, surprised at Javante time. Well, Javante and Malik Davis. Like Malik Davis has only hold on. Let me see how many carries. It might be Malik Davis time because he's been running sufficiently enough. But yeah, he only has 4 carries to Javante Williams 15. So like, give Javante a couple, just for the plot. But like honestly, let's see how many carries Malik Davis can handle. I'm like, Cavante, go out of bounds. Well, actually, no. A score there wouldn't have been bad. Surprise, I'm with you. Yes, let's let Luke carry the ball. It's like as long as you can keep the drive going, experiment as much as you want. All right, Cowboys are on their own 40. What is that? 43. And Javante again didn't get many yards that time, but he did start from like 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's a good point. Javante would be the one expected to wear them down. But those two runs make what, 17 carries for him? It's about time to start like winding him down a little bit, especially in a game like this. It's like the Cowboys have some tough games coming up. All right, Dak and shotgun. Looks like Javante is still on the field. And Turpin bobbled the ball a little bit there. So that did not count. It was literally in your hands. Turpin been pissing me off with the way he been dropping some of these passes this season. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was in his hands. Why could he not hold on to that? Like our defense is tired. We don't need to be punting right now. They need a longer break. But maybe the defense can do themselves a favor, get a 3-and-out, and get back off the field. Yeah, there we go, Maris. I love. We don't talk about Maris Foul on special teams enough. I'm telling y'all, look at the film, look at the special team snaps, and look at where the returner usually stops. It's usually in Maris Foul's chest. Oh, an Epstein commercial. I appreciate the info, but this is a little bit of a vibe killer. Mm, mm. I think Maris has gotten more snaps today. I haven't counted, but like I'm already excited to look at the film. I want to look at Maris' snaps. I want to look at Quentin Williams' snaps. With Quentin, I want to see who they usually have him on the field with because I think that'll say a lot. And with Maris, I just want to see if his snaps are going up because in week 10, no, in week 9, they were playing the 5 down front, weren't using Maris like they had the 2 weeks before. And then fast forward to this week, they're back to using him in that particular front. And so I just want to see, like, okay, how often is he getting those snaps, especially compared to other people? Um, and what could it point to? His tackling has looked better when he has made tackles on defense. I don't have the game. How did Q do? Oh, you're not watching Surprise? Um, Quentin's doing great. Quentin is actually making this front look like an attack front for real. Like they're getting home with four. And I'm like, that's all I've been asking for all season. These commercials are making me hungry. Quentin Williams got 2 sacks, correct? That sounds right. I'll double check the stats for you real quick, JV. Defense. Quentin Williams, 1 tackle for loss. They've got him credited with 1.5 sacks right now. I feel you, Surprise. Prize, do you think you'll get like the ESPN app thing that they have going on? Is this game on that app? Because I know like that's less expensive than like YouTube TV or Hulu Plus Live TV, but you don't get all the games. I think the Cowboys defense just got a safety. Play it again. I want to watch it again. I said they were going to try to get off the field real quick, didn't I? Yeah, he'll learn from this experience. So it looks like they're crediting Easy with the safety, but there were a few people involved in that. It looked like Osa, Dono, Easy were all keeping Genty in the end zone. But I guess the defense said there's only a few ways we can get off the field. 3 and out, or we score. And they went with scoring. I'm here for it. Oh, they're gonna attempt an onside kick. This could backfire. But then again, I don't know how much the Cowboys have practiced onside kicks. If they still had bones, I would trust them 100% to be prepared for this. But this new guy, I can't even remember his name. Let's see how it goes. I mean, they got to do something. I respect them for trying. Even though it's the Raiders, I'm happy for him. Like, who doesn't like winning? And recovered by Pickens. I'm laughing because the way Pickens got up. Pickens looks like he talks shit after everything he does. All right, so that puts the Cowboys at the Raiders 37-38 inside the 40. So basically, the Raiders need to, since the onside kick didn't work, they got to get a stop. But where the Cowboys are, they're already within Aubrey's field goal range. They're calling something called Stiffy. Interesting choice for a play name. Dak in shotgun. Hands it off to Javonte Williams. He gets, looks like, 4 yards. Yes, I surprised you laughing, but I believe he talks shit after he shits. Dak in shotgun. Everybody blocking. Pass to CD, who should have been considered down before the ball came out. But no, George Pickens really just does have that kind of swagger. Like he talks shit after everything he does. Like he'll parallel park and talk shit. Like he'll pay the bill for everybody to eat at dinner and then talk shit afterwards. He'll open the door for a family member and talk shit about it. You said, how wasn't that a DPI? That didn't look like a DPI to me, JV. But I will admit I was not watching intently. I agree they got to keep him. Surprise! I don't know if you were here for my theory about his unsportsmanlike penalties, but I was like, I wonder if he's getting these unsportsmanlike penalties on purpose so other teams don't want him. And that's his way of saying he wants to stay in Dallas. Because like some of these tauntings and celebrations are so avoidable that it's just like, bam, how many times do you need to get fined? And he's like, no, I'm gonna just keep doing blatantly illegal shit. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. It's fine. It's like costing us a few yards on the point after. It's Aubrey. He got it. Well, yeah, JV, he was on CD Lamb's bat, but it just looked like he was trying to play. It looked like, to me like he was trying to play on the ball through CD, which you can do as long as he's not like grabbing CD. That was a hell of a pass. Turpin finally caught a pass. Jesus. Surprise! It will be an interesting negotiation to watch, considering that Pickens has the same agent as Micah Parsons. So I think a lot of people are going to be watching those interactions closely. But one thing we did learn from the Micah Parsons situation is that Jerry Jones does not handle these conversations by himself. So I feel like now that we know there are some interpersonal issues between Jerry Jones and what's his name? I can't think of his name right now, but Pickens' agent. Now that everybody's aware that there's some issues, because like they tried to keep it professional, but it became clear that they like don't like each other. I feel like other people will step in and make sure that Jerry is not handling those conversations by himself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Cowboys are smart enough to do that. What am I drinking? Champagne. I don't drink heavy liquor during the week, so it's usually like wine or champagne if I'm drinking at all. Champagne, and then I like to have champagne with ginger beer, but I haven't opened my ginger beer. Ginger beer is actually non-alcoholic, but I like it better than ginger ale because it's more ginger, less sugar. It's still sweet, but it's just like more ginger, less sugar. Whereas a lot of commercial ginger ale, like Canada Dry, is like a lot of sugar and like I don't even know if they use real ginger. It'd be tasting like ginger flavoring and a lot of sugar. But like good high quality ginger beer is like real ginger, cane sugar, and carbonation. So I like it. Oh yeah, the Cowboys need to make some moves with the free agents for sure. But I do think they have tradable pieces depending on how sentimental they get. Like Tolbert is tradable. Um, I even think Sanborn is tradable. Who else? All right, fake to Wiggins, Williams went to Ferguson. I'm laughing because Ferguson just like mushed this dude 6 yards away. They won't get anything on them individually, but I feel like if you package them with some of their remaining picks, they could make something happen. Especially for these teams that are desperate. It's a lot of teams that are desperate right now. Because hold on, I'm gonna tell you after this snap. So we got Dak in shotgun. Javante Williams is still out on the field. Hand off to Williams, who does not get the first down. Looks like it's gonna end up being third and like two. But sorry, that's all y'all was sleepy. But no, prize like a lot of these teams have been hoping for quick development for so long that now the teams that are performing worse are deficient in multiple positions, and a lot of them have like one good piece. So like the Raiders, for example, the Raiders have multiple good pieces. Like honestly, if the Raiders could get their offensive line together, they'd be in a much better position. All right, just keep this between us since it's only three people watching the stream. I think George Pickens runs routes better than CD Lamb. Just between us, don't take this nowhere. Okay, it's a cone of silence. Um, but for example, the Cleveland Browns are an example of this with Miles Garrett. Not that I think they'll get rid of Miles Garrett, but like that's just a dynamic on a lot of teams. They have like one good piece, a lot of decent pieces, and then they just don't have the coaching or the depth to like really bring it together. And so I feel like since what the Cowboys need is depth and they need more compatibility, like it would make sense to trade some of their pieces that are not working for a piece that could work. JB, you saying that's blasphemy? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. If nothing else, at least tonight is true. But I'm just like, and I'm going off memory. I'm thinking about stuff that I've watched earlier in the season, and I just feel like George be making some cuts that just look phenomenal. See, they're just experimenting with shit now, but they're eating the clock, like I said they should. The Raiders literally will not have enough time to catch up. It's not happening. But they should still score on this drive just to do it. Back under center. We got three backs. Max Crosby is the best player on the Raiders. He should have came over to the Cowboys when he had the chance. Good night, Surprise. See you next time. Somebody messaged me and asked me why I still do these even though people don't show up to my streams, and I'm just like, I've only done this like 3 times. What, like 3 or 4 times I've had a watch along. It's not like I've been consistent for 5 seasons and people just don't like my shit. People have their game rituals. People have their game day rituals. And I don't think I'm part of anybody's ritual. It's all good. JV is not being blasphemous. It's us using our eyes. We can see it. And that's not to say that CD isn't bad. I think it's just highlighting things that he needs to work on. Athletes have to work on shit sometimes. It's fine. CD Lamb is still one of the best receivers in the league. All right, this is a 4th and 2. Dak has been doing a lot of this tonight. You've got to be kidding me. Turnover on downs on that pass? Really, CD? Like I was saying, CD has some things to work on. You said who said that to me and why aren't they here? Who was it? It was somebody on Twitter, and I don't even be on Twitter that much. I don't know. They weren't even a Cowboys fan. It was just somebody who happens to follow me on Twitter from another team. But I think that's why they're not here. It's because they're not a Cowboys fan. Sorry, I did not mean to yawn in the camera like that. I forgot I got a ticket to watch Wicked. I think it's for Wednesday. I need to look. Okay, so the real question is, should I order food right now? Should I order Whataburger? JB, I don't think they said it to try to be mean. I think they were just legit trying to figure out like what keeps me going. And they're not the first person to ask me that. Like, I've had friends that ask me that. Because, like, you got to remember, when I first started this podcast, I had a co-host. And then, like, she didn't keep up with it. And I just kind of kept going. And the podcast has evolved over the years, you know? Like, to the point where it's like sometimes I forget how short of time I've been doing this. But I've had multiple people, like, I've had friends, I've had family members just be like, well, so what's your plan with this? Like, how long are you gonna keep at it? But it's like I said, I've been applying for a few jobs, and it's like, so for example, a lot of these journalism positions that I look at, they're looking for anywhere from 4 to 8 years of experience. And it's like, well, I've had this podcast for a little over 4 years. I've only been on YouTube for 3 years. I've only been writing for like 2.5 years. So it's like, if most of the jobs that I want 4 years of experience, I'm definitely not going to quit now. This is the only experience I'm getting, because it's like in media, it's like they want you to have experience, but they're not going to give you experience. If I were fresh out of college getting an internship, it might be different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, the only way to get experience is to do it myself. So I'm going to keep making content. I'm going to keep writing. And then maybe one day I'll be able to do this full time. Yes, my co-host is from Spain. And she had never watched football before doing this podcast with me. And we had some dope conversations about football because of that. All right. Cowboys sending 4. Catches made. Tackle by Kalen Carson, keeping him short of the first down. I think I'm gonna order Whataburger. And if it gets here before the stream ends, I'm gonna just end the stream early because I'm hungry and these commercials are making me hungry. Oh, I got a message on LinkedIn. There's a lot of bots and bullshit on LinkedIn. Yeah, Osa. It's not gonna count as a sack because I think he got rid of the ball, but I'm happy for Osa. They're saying it was an incomplete pass. But in my mind, in my heart, that was a sack. Yeah, it'll be interesting looking at the snap totals tonight. Chill out, Maris. Osa got it that time. He said, I'm getting this sack tonight. I love it. Look at Jerry looking all excited. Okay, so Jerry makes too much money to not have a better toupee. Like, I need him to do better. But no, like people have been looking better. Like even if you look at Maris, the times when they put him in open field coverage, he just seems more aware of what he's supposed to be doing than he has in the past. And I love that. Because that was my biggest problem with it before. It's just that Osa has not Osa, Maris has never been good at open field coverage. Like even coming out of college, that was something on his scouting report. And tonight they have looked a lot more intentional in what they're doing. The tackling has looked better. So I'm just like, cool. Use this boring ass front and coverage all you want if people are going to know what the fuck they're doing and be able to execute it properly. Like, I've never been against it, an attack front. JB, yes, Jerry Jones is wearing a hairpiece. But, like, no, I've never been against an attack front. What I've been against is a front that didn't make sense, a front and coverage that didn't make sense, that the players weren't executing correctly or well. And so I'm just like, if they're not executing it well, maybe you should do something else. And I don't know what they did over the bye week, but it looks like they got their shit together. Are they gonna kneel 3 times and then go for the end zone? What is the plan here? Because they can't. But yeah, JV, if you watch Jerry Jones, like when the media be talking to him after games, you can see that the back of his hair is like a slightly different color and texture than like the top of his hair. And I'm just like, for all that money, he should be looking better than how he's looking, even if he is 80. Oh, they got Waffle House on DoorDash now. So you can tell the game is over. When I'm trying to make my food order in the middle of the stream. But I am tempted to get Waffle House. What should I get? Waffle House or Whataburger? It's only 2 of y'all watching, and whoever the second person is has not said a thing all night. So JV, if you have an opinion, should I get Waffle House or Whataburger? I think I'm gonna go Whataburger, just because I kind of know what to expect from them. I haven't had Waffle House in so long. So JV is also saying Whataburger. One more meal and they're done. JV, I'm ordering off DoorDash. I'm not going to get this. So it's coming to me. I don't have to fight nobody. What is the whistle for? Oh, it's because people are already getting onto the field. And that's a ball game. So overall, in terms of what Brian Schottenheimer said about winning the first downs, they did kind of do that in a roundabout way, but it felt like the focus was not so much on winning first downs as it was on the other thing he talked about, which is doing what they do well. Oh, they have Marshawn Lynch's jersey. Oh my god. But what do they do well? You got Javante Williams in the run game is one thing they do well. It looks like they found a good complement in Malik Davis. Um, just the way he spread around the targets was good. I'm trying to listen to what Dak is saying. So Dak talking about effort, intensity, and finishing every play. Good focuses. But yeah, we'll come to this later. But yeah, that was it on the offensive side. On the defensive side, the tackling looked better. The intent looked better. They just seemed to really know what they were doing tonight. Um, so yeah, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. Still got the radio show tomorrow, so look out for notifications for that. And I'll be back here to after doing another replay of the game, just from my own personal notes, we'll talk about some of this stuff more in detail. So anyway, thanks to everybody who watched. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. I am your host, Jazz Monet, and this has been another episode of Bitches Love Sports, and I'm out.
You only think of us as a bitches when you intimidated. Put it that way. I think
people look at a woman and she's an aggressive woman who's out to get what she wants to get. You know what I'm saying? Ambitious, and they want to say, when a male is assertive, this is what he wants. He's looked at as a strong male, but yet when I get it, I'm a bitch.
Exactly.
And if that's what I gotta be, exactly, to get what I want and to make it somewhere, then I'll just be